Good evening, everyone. So I've been going through Ryan Hilligoss's trial testimony, and I've noticed some really weird shit. Come with me on the journey. Now, I will be including the link to the trial transcripts that he is featured in the description of this video, and his testimony starts on page 156. Now, let's dive right on in. So, Kratz on direct. Now, I'm going to be making more than one video on this. Just first of all, I've gotten about halfway through this trial testimony, and I'm just maybe not even halfway through, but my mind is just boggled. Like, what the fuck? And Kratz asks him, how would you characterize your relationship with Teresa Halbach? Want to know Ryan's answer? His answer is, we were longtime friends, I guess. We dated for about 5 years. If you dated for 5 years, she is your ex-girlfriend, sir. She is not just your friend. She is your ex-girlfriend. Why are you distancing yourself from her? He then says that he spoke to her about once a week, which I find weird. I'm sorry. I've never stayed friends with an ex. Ever. Well, no, that's not true. My first boyfriend, but we were 13 and it was that sort of like picking on each other thing. But anyways, and he states that Teresa lived with a roommate, Scott Blodern. And here's the thing though, guys, Scott and Ryan are best friends. Yeah, that wouldn't fucking cause problems of jealousy in an ex-boyfriend at all. Especially an ex-boyfriend that is known to have obsessive, stalkerish tendencies towards women and has even been known to commit violence towards women. Why wasn't he looked at more, Kratz? He says that the first day that he heard of Teresa Halbach missing was on November 3rd, that Scott had called him, that Teresa's dad had called Scott to see if he had seen her. That this was at about 3 o'clock when he went to her house. And see, that right there just bothers me. Teresa's dad called the roommate to ask him if he had seen Teresa, and that was the first that Scott heard of it? I call bullshit. I'm sorry, but no. That roommate is suspect. How do you not notice that your roommate has not been home for 3 fucking days? He then says that they found a list of her friends on her computer, complete with phone numbers. No, sir, you made that list complete with phone numbers so that you would have a list of which to work off of and call to make your efforts seem genuine. And that whole guess the password and made up a username to print off her cell phone records. Now, look, I've never had service with Singular, so I don't know how all that shit works. But I do know that if she was monitoring her account online, you can't just guess the password and make up a username, and that's that. There's like a whole process that has to happen there. And Kratz asks him, well, who all went into this effort? And he says, well, a couple of us. You'll notice that perpetrators generally use qualifiers like that in their sentences because they're trying to distance themselves from any wrongdoing. They're trying to throw you off. They're trying to say, oh, well, it was a couple of us and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm not suspicious at all. I'm not suspicious. Kratz then asks him, how long did you work on this project? This project? It's not a fucking project, Kratz. They're supposed to be looking for a missing woman. You know something too, Kratz. You know something. He then asks Ryan if Ryan had received any assistance from anybody at Teresa's workplace at Auto Trader, at which point Ryan says, no, I never spoke with anybody from Auto Trader. That's a random fucking question, don't you think? Why would they ask Ryan that? What do they know that we don't know? I mean to find out. This is my favorite, is Ryan states during his testimony, I guess I was kind of the unofficial leader, coordinator of the effort, if you could call it that. Folks, are you aware that Ariel Castro actually assisted in the search for one of the victims that he had in his house at the time they were searching for her? And he even hugged her mother. Okay? Perpetrators will generally ingratiate themselves into the searches because they're trying to make it look legit. They're trying to not make themselves look like a suspect. And they usually will be the one leading the charge because, look, I care so much. Dun, 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 dun. Why is nobody looking at Ryan? And what really sort of caught my eye was when he was telling Kratz about one of the searches, and he handed out a bunch of maps to the volunteers that he himself plotted out. Why would you plot out maps for a search effort? What were you trying to steer them away from, Ryan? What are you hiding? Because I'm sorry, but the whole point of a search is to fucking look everywhere. What are you hiding, Ryan? Why were you telling people where to look for her and where not to look for her? And then, Kratz brings up that whole bullshit of, as an untrained law enforcement officer, you were smart enough to look at the last place that she was seen alive. No, Kratz. With law enforcement, the last place that she is known to have been seen alive is the starting point. It's not where you focus completely. It's the starting point, and then you blossom out and you move around. Move that shit around. You don't focus only on the last place that she was seen alive. You focus on the last place that she was known to have been seen, and then you move out from there. That's how you do it. Do you need me to take your hand and show you how? Because apparently you've got about the comprehensive abilities of my fucking 2-year-old, you schnook. Folks, Ryan is on my suspect list. He is right on par with Scott Taddock. Something is very fishy. I am going to finish reading his trial testimony, and I will see you next video. I will be leaving the link to the trial testimony in the description below. His testimony starts on page 156. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next video.